Chapter 316 of My Academia is now out, and all I gotta say is another fantastic chapter like last week. And all I gotta say is All For One really is establishing himself as an evil mastermind that he is. All For One, we knew this guy was built different, but after these couple chapters, he really is just that built different. But before we begin with the review, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the bell notification so you stay notified whenever I upload. Now we can finally get further into the chapter 316, and I gotta say, get ready and buckle in for a ride. If you don't know what happened last chapter, I'm gonna give you a real quick summary. Deku and NAGANT were getting to their conclusion of their fight, and Deku was able to beat NAGANT, but before that NAGANT could actually respond to Deku and switch sides, All For One, being the evil mastermind that he is, blew her up. Now this chapter, Endeavor and the Pro Heroes are finally here, and Endeavor says that he was slowed down because of the rain. He's not really good at flying in the rain because, again, flames, rain, doesn't really go together. Hawks then grabs NAGANT, and again, like we saw last chapter, and he just says that he's not ready to fly, but Deku comes in clutch and saves him with a black whip, and Deku then sums it up that All For One trapped her by giving her a quirk, but basically making her a ticking time bomb. So Goat for One basically is using the people who gets quirks from him as a ticking time bomb. I think it's a way for Deku so he can't get new allies. Hawks then tells NAGANT that, I can't believe that you allowed yourself to be controlled by All For One, you're supposed to be a hero, and he basically tells her that he is her successor. And now Hawks is basically just trying to get any info that he can about All For One's whereabouts and the villains, because it looks like NAGANT is at her death's door. NAGANT then finally notices Hawks and then says that here from the Hero Safety Commission, they probably made you do bad things, but how come your eyes are still gleaming with hope as a hero? And like I mentioned, what makes Deku a great hero, we see the parallels between Hawks and Deku, how they're still fighting even though through the chaos and through the mist, they're still smiling through it all. I can always link that video in the top right hand corner, and you can go click on it and see what I've said and see what the parallels I made with Hawks and Deku. And now back to the chapter. Deku and Hawks are still trying to get this info, and NAGANT finally speaks up, and again her face is charred. All For One really did trap her by giving her this quirk. NAGANT then tells Hawks that in 2 months that they'll be at a mansion where the targets will be brought, and that All For One basically now has a following, and we see a little silhouette of the villains, and some villains are not noticeable, but there's one villain in particular that I think is noticeable, but again it could be different, but it is from the Heroes Rising movie, which was Chimera, who fought Shoto, Ida, Kirishima, and Froppy. And even though Chimera was not a main villain in, you know, the Heroes Rising movie, which was 9, and he's now dead, he was still a formidable opponent for Shoto because Shoto had to go below 0 to beat this guy. So it's definitely going to be interesting if he's actually the villain in this shot with All For One and his following. NAGANT then questions how is Hawks able to smile through it all, and Hawks says because I had somebody to support him, and not only that, he was an optimist. You know, this is actually a great character mode for Hawks because in the previous chapters, Hawks said he was inspired by Twice, aka Jean. Hawks was inspired by him because the way he went out, the way he loved his friends and wanted to do anything for them. Even though Hawks is the hero and he killed Twice, Hawks still liked Twice. He still considered him a friend, and he considered to be like him. He considered to be just like Twice because Twice was a model of what society really should be. And I think this is a great step into further direction to Hawks' character and to Hawks trying to be more like Twice. I'm not saying Hawks should go join the League of Villains and help them do whatever they want, but Hawks can definitely take inspiration from Twice because Twice, again, great friend, but the way he went out was definitely sad. I do think Hawks does regret it, but again, job comes first. But we can discuss that in a whole different video about Hawks and why I think he's a great pro hero. Grabs Overhaul, and Overhaul's still talking about the boss. He says, let me see the boss. He's the only one I have left. And Deku's face, I gotta say that this guy has been through a lot, and I do think a dark turn is coming to Deku. But again, another video on Deku will be made sooner or later. And for Endeavor, he's just asking, yo, is this the last villain here, or is there more? And Deku just looks at him and just looks at Overhaul and says, I want to apologize to him. And Chisaki, well, Deku calls Chisaki's name and says, you remember what you did Eri, right? Deku then tells him that you have another person to apologize to, and if you can reciprocate the same feelings to Eri like you did for the boss, and like how you want to go see the boss, I will keep the promise that NAGANT wanted to keep for you. And Overhaul's whole plan was to get Eri, or like just see the boss, because Overhaul does have a quirk right now. Now, Overhaul, in my opinion, his planning was kind of dumb, because Overhaul would just low-key just go to the boss and just stand there, look at him and be depressed. And All Might then arrives and looks like All Might took down those villains that were trying to jump him. So again, kudos to All Might, glad he's okay. And it looks like now that All Might is here, Endeavor then tells like All Might, Best Genius, and Hawks to take them to the police and take them to the emergency room. And Hawks then tells him to bring Deku with them, but Deku, all he can think about is All For One. Because Deku right now is kind of pissed at All For One, and again, I think a dark turn for Deku is coming very, very soon. Best Genius then calls Deku's name like Deku, then Endeavor then tells him like, Deku, don't be reckless, and now they are at the forest where the mansion is for their hideout for All For One, with heroes like Mount Lady, Best Genius, and Kamui Woods, and my boy Edgeshot. And they come to the mansion, surprise, surprise, All For One's not there, but a video of All For One comes in. All For One then says that did he enjoy his Q&A session with, Lady Nagant, and he tells Deku that he didn't force Lady Nagant to basically take the quirk. She let her own decisions blind her and take the quirk herself, so she basically let herself become the end of her own downfall. All For One then continues saying, even if you take pride in your quirk, society still controls it in the end. You never fit in and you be excluded. All For One then says it doesn't matter if it's democracy, dictatorship, it doesn't matter, even the first society of Hero Society had this problem. And he tells Deku that you took a thorny path. And I don't know about you, did All For One just get better as a villain because he broke out of Tartarus with Shigaraki's body and now is planning everything like he's playing 4D chess? All For One then tells Deku, the more you fight, the more your spirit goes down and there's no end in sight. In prisons, I could never stop thinking about you. And he tells him that my interest is not with All Might anymore. I'm done with that guy. My interest is with you. And it just shows now that All For One doesn't give a damn about All Might anymore because he does not have One For All. He's looking at somebody like Deku because Deku is now the last user of One For All, or maybe the last user of One For All. And he just tells Deku in a good fashion, like how All Might pointed saying that Deku, you're next. He points at Deku and says, you're next, and blows up the mansion. And I got to say, All For One is establishing himself as a great mastermind villain. He's establishing himself in the likes of Aizen. I wouldn't say he's near the tier of Aizen, but he's definitely establishing himself as My Hero Academia's Aizen. This man cannot be stopped. He's an evil mastermind. But that's actually the end of the chapter. I'll give it an 8.5 out of 10. This man, All For One, he's a menace to society, or should I say, GOAT for one. And I cannot wait if Deku and Endeavor and the other heroes survive this explosion, because this man planted bombs upon bombs upon bombs. This man just loves blowing stuff up. It's just the way he is. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you guys did, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay notified whenever I upload. Hope you guys did enjoy this video. It has been the Red Cloak. I'm headed out of here, guys. Peace out. And I'm out, guys. Peace. Have a great rest of the day. Stay safe.